Hey guys, okay, so now I'm going to talk about Homeland. And Homeland this season, we've now moved on to season 3, and we are 4 episodes into the series. And I've been struggling this season. I was a huge fan of this series in season 1. I could not stop watching this show. I binge watched and I watched the whole season in a day and a half, and it was outstanding. I could not stop. Like every episode was so good. I had to move on so quickly to the next one. I just couldn't wait. And season 2, I know people had some issues with season 2. I actually liked season 2 for the most part. I was on the fence. I thought, yeah, sure, they could have killed off Brody, and this series still could have survived. But I understand that the choice that they decided to make. I thought it did get a little sappy towards the end, but I did like that somebody framed him to take the blame for the explosion going off at the CIA headquarters. So I thought all of that was great. And then we head into season 3, and I'm just not sure where we're going with this. I mean, after last week's episode, when we find out that Carrie and Saul have been in cahoots with each other, you know, I was kind of underwhelmed. My first thought was, okay, when did this plan take place? And why did so many things happen if this was the plan all along? And I was just really underwhelmed by that revelation. I mean, we spent episodes watching Carrie go through this, and my whole thought process during these episodes was, why are we doing this again? We had already ended season 1 with the fact, knowing that Carrie was not lying, that Carrie was telling the truth the whole time, that Brody was a terrorist, that everything that he did, she was correct about. So for us to go back and spend all this time, basically watching the same thing happen again, I was like, why are we doing this again? Why am I sitting here watching Carrie, who is brilliant as, being manic and having this disease? Like, she's amazing. She's an amazing actress. She's wonderful. But why am I watching this again? Why am I spending so much time watching her go through these episodes and refusing to take her medication, and then freaking out in when she's in front of a council and having to prove that she's okay? And why am I sitting through this all over again? Like, I was just not feeling it. And to come to the like to now have it be like, okay, you were in on the joke, like, this is our plan the whole time. I'm having a hard time to believe it. I read something, I read somewhere that basically this plan has been in place from the very beginning of this season. So some people were thinking, well, maybe it just happened when she was brought into the psych ward, and then she basically looks up at Saul, and she looks like her mouth is full of cotton balls, and she basically says, F you, Saul. And that was the moment that this plan was hatched. And like, when the scene cut to black, Saul basically says, listen, I'm doing this all because we want everyone to pretend. But no, it happened from the beginning. I just, like, there's so many scenes that happen where it's like, who does this benefit? The audience? Does it, like, who are we playing this up for? Like, who's watching all these little moments that she's having, where she's having these like small little episodes? So I don't know. I think that they tried to do something daring and risky, and I just don't know if it really paid off. The episode before this, where we spent like a majority of the episode watching Brody's character basically be trapped again, I'm like, why? Like, this isn't the show that I want to see. Like, I want to see Carrie and her team hunting the bad guys. I want to see her putting the puzzles together, figuring out how are these terrorist cells getting into this country, or what's happening. Like, that is the meat. That is like, finding out a bit more about Quinn, like all these like intriguing people, but yet we're spending our time on Dana, the daughter. Why do I care that she has some crazy boyfriend that she met at this loony bin place? Do I care that she tried to kill herself after everything happened with her father? Yes, absolutely. Do I care that it had such a huge effect on her that she no longer wanted to live? Yes. Do I need to see her off in a place with her boyfriend and have her break out from her home and have sex with her boyfriend? Absolutely not. Do we need to spend 3/4 of an hour on Dana? No. Okay, I'm sorry. You are losing me every single time we cut to this girl. Where we barely even see the wife, who you would think would. I mean, I know that in the first season there was a huge. Dana and her father had a great relationship, and they showed like the struggles of him returning, and they really bonded, and I get all that, but this now is too much. Okay, I'm so sorry, but the show is spending way too much time giving me this budding romance between her and her. Now we find out that he could be potentially responsible for killing his twin brother. I mean, this brings me back to season 2 when she was dating the vice president's son, and it was all cute and it was nice to see her, find this relationship, and it was sort of like they were kids stuck in a world where their parents had so much power, and what happens when you're trying to be a little human when your parents are like larger than life people. And then it took this like huge left turn, and then they were all of a sudden involved in a hit and run. It's like, what? Why? I so at this point now we're going into episode 5, and we found out now that Saul and the new girl who's been hired to track the money, it's going to lead us to where Brody is. Last episode we had no Quinn, we had no Daradal, or we saw a glimpse of him as he was walking through the crazy place where Carrie was, and that's it. Like all these characters who have these rich, could have these rich story arcs with the canvas and the story are being pushed aside so that we can get what Dana, and then we had the mother and what's his name, Brody's friend from last season come back, Mike, I believe, and it's like, give me the story that we signed up for. Bring Brody and Carrie back onto the screen. Not necessarily together, but in a way that is intriguing and engaging and is like advancing the storyline, because it is not happening right now. So right now, my feelings about Homeland are very low, and they have a lot to do. See, Homeland only does 13 seasons. They've got 8 more to really get it right, to hammer it home now. I mean, I don't know. It's not off to a good start. I'm very disappointed right now, and I'm hoping that they can get back on track with these next 8 episodes. I'll be here to review them, and I'll be here every week, so I hope you'll tune in just to hear what I have to say. But right now, not very impressed. Sorry, I'm just not. Okay, guys, that's it for my Homeland review. I'll see you next week.